Why did it take me so long to see that my parent is a narcissist? I hear this question a lot from my clients because many of my clients come to me when they're in their 40s, 50s, 60s, and beyond to work with me because they know that I work with adult children of narcissists and they know that I can help them heal the wounds that come from this in a holistic way. But this one question is a really hard one for a lot of people to understand because you don't typically just suddenly see it all one day. It takes time. In this video, I'm going to be talking about why it takes us so long to see that our parent is a narcissist. I'm Dr. Meg Haworth. I'm a transpersonal psychologist, holistic nutritional chef, and best-selling author of Get Well Now, Healing Yourself with Food and the Power of the Mind. And I help ACONs, adult children of narcissists, to become healed icons. And what's an icon? Somebody who's independent, confident, original, and naturally you. Those are all the things that the narcissistic parent really divides you from, because you don't get to be yourself. You have to focus on that narcissistic parent at all times, because it's all about them. So why is it that it takes us into our 50s and 60s and beyond to be able to see that our parent is a narcissist? Well, there's a number of reasons for this, but one of the primary reasons that I find over and over again, it's because your narcissistic parent has normalized everything that they do. So it was all normal for you to diminish and dismiss or be diminished and dismissed, to use all these different tools and tactics that they were using really to get energy from you. They were trying to get emotional energy from you by using emotions as their weaponry. And so those key emotions that they're using are shame, guilt, envy, jealousy, vengeance, and rage. Those are the ones that they use to shut you down and keep you in place. And that works very, very well, unfortunately for you. So that normalization of how they are is one of the things that keeps us in the cycle of going through it, but not really understanding what we're going through until we start to maybe wake up to it. We start to maybe see, well, I saw that little clip on narcissism on YouTube, and it was telling me about, this attribute, and my parent is just like that. So then you start diving into it and looking at it more and more. And I think what I see all the time in my practice is people will wake up incrementally to see more clearly what is going on with their narcissistic parent and how they have been all along, and then how that affects you. Because that's important. Step one is really just kind of understanding that this is the problem, and this is the problem, the thing you've been dealing with all these years. But step two is really getting help for it so that you can first identify your wounds and work through the wounds that you have from your parental narcissistic abuse. And so that's one of the primary reasons that I see with narcissistic abuse and why adult children of narcissists are dealing with waking up later in life. Another reason that I see as to why adult children wake up later in life and don't see that their parent was a narcissist is that they're minimizing and dismissing their own reality. So you were trained to do that. They minimized and dismissed you and belittled you, but then you take on that same kind of programming and you do the same thing to yourself. So you won't let yourself see what's right in front of you. It's also very painful to admit that this is what your parent is, who they are, and what they're about. It's very, very painful, and it's very difficult to get to that place of admitting it. And once you get to the place of admitting it, then getting to the place of accepting that this is how it is and that there's nothing that you can do to change that parent. The only person you can change in this scenario is you. And as you change, as that inner landscape changes, everything opens up for you. And if you're enjoying this video and you're getting something out of it, please hit the like button. It means a lot to me because it gets it out to more people who need this information. And if you have something to say, put it in the comments below. I'd love to hear your questions. I'd also love to hear if you want me to make a video about something else. Another thing that happens to us when we have narcissistic parents and why it takes us so long to see it is that You may not see it until they get older and their behaviors escalate and they start to get worse and worse, or they start to have memory issues and then they're not tracking their stories anymore. Like, who did I tell what to? And so they may be confusing their stories or confusing people and telling you the story they're telling somebody else, because there's always this division thing that they do. It's one of the primary tactics of a narcissist, is to divide people in the family system, to keep them apart from each other, to keep them from talking to each other, keeping them from banding up against the narcissistic parent. The narcissistic parent is the only one who gets to decide who you're supposed to gang up against. That's their thing, and you're not supposed to take that thing away from them. There's a lot of things they don't want you to take away from them, and primarily it's control, because they have to stay in control of you. Another reason that it takes so long to see that your parent is a narcissist is because they are masters at smoke and mirrors, deflecting energy, deflecting their own guilt and shame and blame onto you for things that they did, creating things that never even happened. So narcissistic parents are constantly confusing everybody in their family system. And so a confused mind has a very hard time making decisions. It has a very hard time admitting and seeing the truth, because the truth is really painful. As I mentioned, it's really hard to admit that this is what your parent is. So when you're confused, it keeps you in place, though, for them. And when you start to realize this, it's like, wow, I stay confused most of the time, and I want to come up out of this confusion and really claim who I am. And this is what I help people do. I use my whole person integration technique to help you release the emotional root cause of illness and pain in the body, because many of us get very sick from narcissistic abuse. That emotional weaponry wears away at the body over time, and it's not just the emotions they're hurling at us, it's the emotional reaction that you have to the abuse. So if you think about every single cell, atom, and molecule of your body is registering an emotion when you feel it. So if you're boiling with anger a lot, and you do that a lot when you have a narcissistic parent, if you're boiling with rage and there's no place to go with that rage, you push it down into your body, and it can result in illness. So all these things, all these pieces of the puzzle are really important to look at and admit, but they're not easy to when it's your parent, because there's that part of you inside, that child inside of you, who still wants their approval. You still want them to have another good day, or be nice to you, or give you a, congratulations, or awesome, you did that thing. Some kids in narcissistic family systems never hear those words. They never hear the words, I'm proud of you. Or if they do, it's a transaction. It's only in exchange for something that you did, performance, that makes them look better. There are a lot of different reasons as to why it's so hard to see your parent as a narcissist, and why it can take so long. It can take decades. Another reason is we didn't have all of this information out there. 30 years ago, when I was trying to figure out what the heck was going on in my family system, we didn't have that information out there. So I didn't know what I was doing. And this actually leads me to something else that narcissists do. The narcissistic parent will also deflect onto one of your siblings, and then they pit you against each other. So you think the sibling is the problem, that they're the narcissist, and that now you have to protect yourself against that narcissist and the onslaught of that particular person and the things that they do. And they may very well be a narcissist, or they might be highly narcissistic and not actually have the disorder. But the narcissistic parent has deflected their energy onto the two of you, and sometimes three or more, just depends on how many people in your family system. And then they've divided you through that. And then it takes your eye off of the narcissistic parent. So you think, no, it's not my parent. It's my sibling. They're the problem. So they want to take your eyes off of them when it comes to this. But your eyes need to be on them in terms of you doing everything for them that they want you to do for them. Because again, it's all about you. So if this information is resonating with you, then please go over to my website at meghaworth.com and check out 52 Ways to Tell If Your Parent is a Narcissist. It's a free checklist that you can get. I also have my online course, Healing the 5 Primary Wounds of Parental Narcissistic Abuse, and it has a private online community associated with it. And I do a lot of different things. I teach with the Shift Network on faculty with them, so I have courses through them. So just go check out my website. I also write regular columns for online magazines. And if you listened this far, I want to thank you for that. I really appreciate that. And if you want to book a free call with me to see if you might want to work with me, that would be awesome. Those links are in the description below and also in the comments. So just come on through and have a talk with me to see if we might be a good fit to work together. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate you. I hope that this information will help you get well now.